Hi everyone, it's Ryan. Welcome back to my channel and thank you for tuning in. So today I'm going to be talking about my 2021 reading goals. I can't believe I said those words. I can't believe 2020 is over because as long as it did feel, it also felt like it flew by. So for today I'm going to be covering reading goals such as topics that surround book genres and book formats, as well as the numerical Goodreads reading goal. But before I do get to talking about my 2021 reading goals, I do kind of want to recap my 2020 reading year because it was quite successful. In reflection to 2019, it wasn't as great. In 2019, I read around 130 books. This year, I read 110 books. And while I did read 20 less books, I do feel like the quality of my reads has increased immensely. I had quite a few 4-star reads. I haven't really calculated how much, but I bet 80% of the books I read in 2020 were 4-star reads. So I was being really attentive with what I read, and I think that's going to carry on to 2021 as well, because I realized, wow, I actually read a lot of good books this year, and that's because I started paying attention to what I wanted to read and what I was really in the mood for, instead of forcing myself to read things that I wasn't quite feeling in the moment. So that will definitely, hopefully, carry on for 2021. 2020 was also successful because this was the year that I got into audiobooks. So when the pandemic first hit for us, the first lockdown was in April, my reading kind of took a toll with it. I started to read less just because my anxiety was peaked and I just couldn't get my brain to settle down. But I did find solace in audiobooks, and I actually read 28 audiobooks, which is huge for me because I never even read them before. So 28 out of the 110 audiobook 28 out of the 110 books I read were audiobooks, and I think that is killer, absolutely killer. So yes, in overall, 2020 was a good reading year, even though when the first lockdown hit, I did struggle with reading, but now we're in another lockdown, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna do all the reading, and it really did show. In December, I read 12 books, so yeah, okay, so we're going to talk about 2021. I'm still kind of juggling what I want my Goodreads goal to be for 2021. Just because life can get busy. I have a boyfriend, I have 4 cats, I do live away from family, so hopefully, when things kind of clear up, maybe I'll be able to visit them. Obviously, full-time work. I'm also a freelance book editor, so I have to take into consideration life as well, right? Because as much as I want books and book blogging to be my entire life, it's not my entire life, but it does hold a lot of sentiment and importance to me. So I was thinking of starting my Goodreads goal with 50 books and see how I do within the first 3 months, because typically within the first 3 to 6 months, I can tell if this is a realistic goal or not. I know this is a pretty low goal. Really, I should probably make it 100 because I do find it easy to read 100 books in a year. I average 8 books a month, but I'm also a person who puts a lot of pressure on themselves. So I feel like I will start with 50, and if I'm pretty close to 50 by, let's say, May or June, then I'll probably bump it up to 100. And yeah, I've always just kept it a nice round 100. I never have gone above 100, so maybe that'll be a goal for future Ryan. So that's my Goodreads goal. Right now I'm just going to stick it at 50, and it'll probably go up to 100, but I don't want to feel pressured in case, life does get even busier. So another goal for 2021 is to read more fantasy novels, because in 2020 I barely touched fantasy. At the end, though, this month in December, I did get back into reading fantasy, and I've missed it so much. so much. So my goal is to read more fantasy my goal is to read more fantasy in 2021. I did read The Fork, the Witch, and the Worm by Christopher Paolini. And what else did I read? I read Prelude for Lost Souls, was like a paranormal fantasy. Oh, and I read The Red Queen. That was fantastic. I loved that so much. So just more books that are fantasy that, hopefully will capture my attention. And yeah. My next goal is to read more ebooks, and that goes hand in hand with using my Kindle Unlimited more. So I have a Kobo ebook, which is like the Canadian version of a Kindle, and I also have a Kindle. Don't worry, I didn't splurge and buy 2 e-readers. I won the Kindle in a giveaway. So yeah, in regards to my Kindle, I do want to get back into reading more ebooks. Just with the Kindle, it's a tablet type of Kindle, so I have to be, cautious about my reading time with it because it's the blue light's kind of hard on my eyes, even though I do have blue light blocking glasses. But yeah, essentially Kindle Unlimited is a subscription that you can pay, pretty sure it's $9.99 a month for, and there are a whole slew of books you can get for free. So, yeah, so instead of paying, let's say, like $5 or $10 per book, there are a lot of books where you can just get for free automatically with the Kindle Unlimited. So I'm trying to use that more, especially because I love romances and I want to use my Kindle Unlimited for getting free romance novels because that's really cool. And I do hope to read more romance novellas and romance novels on my ebook. And I really want to take advantage of my Kindle Unlimited account. This last goal is kind of daunting. I would like to read thicker books because a lot of the books I read this year, not that they're not thick, they're either, mediocre sized or they're smaller. So, I feel like it's doable because, like I said, with my Kindle Unlimited, I wanted to read more romance novellas. And I feel like it'll be like a good way to break up larger novels. So, I'd like to read the first book of Outlander. I'd like to read Christopher Paolini's new book. It is a chunky one. It is like over 800 pages. I think there was another chunky book I wanted to read. I forget. But anyway, those are 2 off the top of my head. Oh, yes, the first book of Outlander. The font is so tiny and it's so chunky, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I really want to read it because I did watch the first episodes of the TV series on Netflix and I really did enjoy it. So I would like to read the first book, even though I know it's going to be a daunting task. But hopefully I'll be able to break them up in ways where I can manage it. And that's all I have. So thanks for watching my 2020 recap, as well as watching my goals for 2021. In the comments, please let me know how your reading year went for 2020 and what your reading goals are for 2021. Until next time.